Hello everybody, Raven Knight here. I do hope you guys enjoyed the last episode of For Honor Heroes Reanalyzed because I really enjoyed making it. Today we're taking a look at another vanguard. We're moving right through these guys, and today we're going to the Viking faction, and it's time to find out what's so legendary about Raider.
Sometimes, a Viking is born who carries the spark of gods. Raiders, we call them. It is a name that can summon armies. Ruthless, fearless, made for battle. The Dane axe was the mightiest weapon of our ancestors. They wield it without mercy. The moment of a Viking's death is chosen by fate. So what use have they of armor? Or of fear?
The Raiders aren't just Viking warriors, they're heroes. These are the warriors so renowned and so famed that other Vikings will gladly follow them into battle without hesitation, even if it looks like they're running to certain death. They have so little fear of death that they often forego conventional armor outside of a helmet. They rush into battle with the Dane axe, roaring, sneering defiantly at the foes of Valkenheim and at fate itself. Now, unlike knightly orders in which you're sworn into their company, or like a samurai clan in which you're born to the status, a raider has to earn their title. They have to earn that merit. His deeds speak for him. The more ferociously he fights, the more enemies he slays, and the more battles he wins, the more legendary he becomes, until no one can deny that this warrior is, in fact, a raider. There's no pomp, there's no flair, there's no king putting a crown upon your head or tapping you on the shoulder with a sword. You are a raider because everyone takes one look at you, hears your name, and knows you are legendary. They embody the stereotype of what one would think of for a Viking, and you gotta wonder, is that all they really are? Is that all there is to being a raider? Well, in the lore of For Honor, yeah, that's pretty much what they are. The raiders are the vanguards, the frontline soldiers of the Vikings. They're the ones who, when they roar, all of Valkenheim roars with them. But who are they really, historically speaking? Let's take a look into history. Now, if you want to hear the full historical breakdown of who Raider is based on, I'd recommend going and watching my Heroes in History video, which I will link that in the description. But for a brief explanation, Raider is mostly based on Norse elite warriors and heroes, particularly the Huskarls, or Housecarls if you're familiar with Skyrim. Now, funny enough, people have told me that in the Spanish version of the game, it's Warlord who's called Huskarl. Okay, be that as it may, I would argue that Raider meets the criteria far better than Warlord for a few reasons. The big ones being in terms of notoriety and choice of weapons. The Raiders likely heavily inspired specifically by the warriors at the Battle of Hastings under King Harold II, a large portion of whom were Huskarls, depicted commonly carrying Dane axes, wearing helms with nose guards or nasal guarded helmets as they're called, and chainmail. Their incredible battle skill, strength, and passion was not only effective in battle, but also inspiring to the other soldiers under Harold II. And since Raiders in the world of For Honor can, as the trailer said, summon armies, I think that's a really cool connection, because if these guys can roar and fight and show such battle prowess that other soldiers around them get inspired, yeah, that says something about you. But again, I encourage you to watch the full video for full context of who Raider is. I don't want to go too far into that here because I got a whole video dedicated to that. So again, go check it out, link will be in the description. So, with history talked about, how do they look? In terms of design, yeah, the Raider suffers from the same problem as a lot of the Vikings, a real lack of drip. Not that you can't make Raider look good, because I've seen some really awesome designs and builds, but it's not quite as easy. Most of Raiders' chests are shirtless, meaning there's not much you can do unique with 1/3 of the armor. The helm can be kind of unique for guys, as you can have some different colored and designed beards, but for the women, not quite so much. You have to be more creative with that. Only one of the Raiders' chest items has chainmail, which is nice, but one isn't quite enough for most, is it? But for the Raiders' axe, that's pretty cool, actually. Some of the designs and sets for the axe can look absolutely sweet, but ironically, the historical Dane axe wouldn't be that thick at the axe head, nor would the shaft be quite as long, but everything about Raider is rather big and imposing anyway, so I can suppose we can look beyond that. Despite his clear handicaps in terms of design, Raider does come off as a pretty stereotypical Viking, and with some imagination, you can make some cool designs for him, like I did. I personally made 4 Raider builds so far. You've got Helena the She-Beast, Arnbjorn the Mighty, Skage Haukesund, and Sigrun the Huntress. Now, I find that the best way to approach building a Raider is to not focus so much on the intricacy of the designs, but how you can make every piece of the design tie into the larger story behind the character. For example, with Sigrun, I made her have a lot of animal pelts because she's a huntress. She's good at hunting wild beasts and animals, so I thought that would be a good direction to take. So focus on little small details to help you build up a better idea. So that's kind of how I approach building a Raider. It's not impossible, and I do recognize the issue that a lot of people point out, that the Vikings need better drip. But in my opinion, the mark between a bad designer and a good designer is what you can do with less. And I think the best designers will take less and make more. That's my position on that. So, now that we've talked about the design, what about the executions? As far as executions go, I suggest going to my executions graded video series to see where his executions fall in terms of grades. That link will be in the description as well. But I can at least tell you my favorite and least favorite in this video. Of his executions, my favorite is So Bullet. This execution is over the top to the extreme, but it fits the Raider's passionate and bombastic nature. You do a charge into the guy, you just send this dude flying into the air, and then just as he lands, you spin around to finish him off with a downward chop. It fits Raider. It's so pitch perfect. I cannot get over how beautiful this looks. Now, as for my least favorite, I'm gonna have to go with Neckbreaker. It's just, I'll say it for what it is. It's lame. You grab the foe by the head, break it in your arm. It's weak. It's weak. You got an axe. Do something with the axe, but you just walk over it. My brother calls it the smell my pits execution, and I'm afraid I have to agree. It is, here, smell my pits, and then kill him. Like, it's funny for the first few times you use it, but then after that you just realize, yeah, there's other better Raider executions. So yeah, those are my least and favorite executions. So now that we've talked about the executions, the design, the history, and the lore behind them, I know what you guys really want to hear about. How do you play them? Well, let's go into the movesets. When it comes to Raider's moveset, it's important to recognize that Raider is incredibly easy to use, incredibly simple to understand. In fact, he's a beginner's best friend. Everyone always asks me, hey Raven, I'm new to For Honor, or I'm getting back into the game. I want to know how to get started, and I always tell them the same thing. Start with Raider, because I think Raider is a beginner's best friend. His moveset is easy, his damage is good, his balance is fine. He's a great character for people to pick up and learn very fast, and a lot of the elements to his moveset are ones you can find in a lot of other heroes. So we're going to go over that real quick. First of all, you need to know that Raider has a triple attack moveset that can be done with lights and heavy. So you've got your light, light, light. You've got your light, light, heavy. Your light, heavy, light. Heavy, heavy, heavy. And heavy, light, light. I just blew through all my stamina, give it a second. But as you can see, Raider is very easy to flow into a combo. Now, Raider also has an unblockable zone. This is key. The unblockable zone can be thrown not just once, but twice in a combo. It's one of the few heroes that can do this, and because it's such a strong 50-50, you can play a lot of mind games with your opponent, whether or not you parry or not. And the reason why I call it a 50-50 is because one thing Raider relies on is his soft feints. You don't need to cancel the attack with the circle button if you're playing on PlayStation, but you can soft feint it into a guard break by just hitting the guard break button. By doing this, you would get access to just a free heavy or a charge attack. Raider is one of only 2 heroes who has the ability to charge his opponents, and we'll talk about that more in a second. Another thing Raider can do is from any attack other than a light, it can be a zone or a heavy, you can go into a stunning tap from above. And the stunning tap from above is enhanced. Bro, if you would put your guard to the top, that means that even if he blocks, I can still flow into my next attack, so it doesn't get interrupted. And here's what's cool about it. If you do this, you can keep your combo going indefinitely. So watch this, I'll go light, light, heavy, stop, and then go right back into another combo. As long as I have stamina, I could keep that going indefinitely. So as you can see, Raider has a very fast flowing combo. It makes him very hard to predict. Now, like I said, we have a charge attack. If we can move a little closer to the wall here, bro. The thing about Raider's charge attack is it can ledge or wall splat. And if it wall splats, it will do a knee to the face, which does a little bit of damage. And it opens you up for a heavy or light follow-up. Now, with that said, you can also do it from not only from a guard break like that, but you can do it from a charge out of lock. So if I charge at my opponent, grab him, I can run with him. Pretty cool, right? That's why whenever you're fighting a Raider, you don't want to be near a ledge or a wall. If you are a Raider, you want to get near that ledge or wall. Now, Raider does have a dodge attack, but it's a little different. Unlike some characters who will do a dodge attack from the right or left, Raider's attack always comes out from the top, but he can dodge the attack and it will always be a stunning top light. So, now you kind of have a better understanding of how Raider works. One thing that I will always recommend is use that zone attack to bait opponents' reactions. Just like that. Don't be afraid to throw in your light attacks too. I've seen a lot of light spamming Raiders, so don't be afraid to throw that as well. But one thing to keep in mind about Raider is you want to keep an eye on your stamina. If you want to be a rapid fire mini move throwing Raider, you're going to run out of stamina pretty dang quickly. So you want to keep an eye on your stamina so that you don't run out of it. So with Raider, I would honestly put a mix between constant oppression and aggressive tactics, but also patience and counterattacking. So let's say that my brother throws a heavy, right? Throw a heavy. I can immediately start fast flowing into my combo, but I went through a lot of stamina to do it. So one more time in there, bro. See, I threw all those combos, but now I'm almost out of stamina as a result. But honestly, Raider is just so strong, not only in a very aggressive fighting position, but also in his ability to get a lot of damage off of a simple parry. Raider also commands a lot of zone control. Because these heavies are sweeping attacks, they make it easier for you to keep opponents at a distance. And as my brother just proved, there's one other thing to Raider that you need to keep in mind. Hyper armor. The second heavy or follow-up heavy of any combo from Raider has hyper armor. So if I swing with the first heavy and my brother tries to counter in the second heavy, I have hyper armor. So watch this. Bro, if you wouldn't mind dodging my first attack with a dodge attack. And go. Notice how I was able to follow up the attack with a follow-up. Would you do it one more time, bro? Oh, a little too early. There you go. As you can see, my Harper armor allowed me to go right through the attack and keep throwing it. So if you're up against an assassin who's very dodge attack happy, this is a great way to mess with your opponent and catch them off guard with a Hyper armor. So, final thoughts on Raider, because I think I've covered just about everything. Like I said, the key to doing Raider well is to do a lot of combination between super aggressive but also patient. And I know that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but you'll understand it if you pick him up. He's a character that has a lot of free flow ability. He can soft feint into a lot of what he needs to do. His stunning tap makes him very hard to predict, and his hyper armor makes it so that he can eat a lot of damage, but still keep throwing those powerful heavies, which do so much damage. And the guard break has so many options off of it. Genuinely, if you are new to the game and need some help getting started, Raider is genuinely a great character to get you started. Other than undodgeables, which he does not have, he has a lot of the attributes of a lot of other characters in the game, making him so very useful in fights. And that's all I have to say about Raider right now. So thank you guys very much. Let's continue the video. And that about does it for Raider. So, final thoughts on the Raider. Of the vanguards in For Honor, he's definitely not the weakest. Honestly, if I were to give you an honest opinion of the weakest, I'd probably say Warden, but that's neither here nor there. But what I will say about Raider is that I think that he's one of the most easy to learn. Like I said before, if you want to get into For Honor and you're very new to the game and you don't know where to start, Raider's a great character to start with. Many content creators would tell you to start with a character that you like, and I would agree with that, but if you just want to learn the basics of the game, Raider's a perfect one to get you started. Very easy to pick up, very easy to learn, maybe not the best in terms of drip, but it does encourage some creativity, and honestly with a fascinating lore that I was not expecting. To be perfectly honest with you, when I first started looking into Raider way back in the day, and I was trying to figure out their historical influences, I was very much stumped because I just thought, what is Raider but just another stereotype Viking? But the more I looked into who Raider was, and the more I began to understand what Raider was meant to be, the more I began to realize this hero isn't just a standard stereotype Viking. This dude isn't just a random savage rabid raider. He's a hero. He's a Viking hero. He's the kind of person that rallies everyone around him. He's based on a legacy of warriors so great, so powerful, we still carry around some of that legacy today. When you think of a Viking, and this is something that I want to say to all my Viking fans out there, I know that we've butted heads in the past, and with good reason in most cases, but if there's one thing I can say to all my Viking fans out there is I respect this kind of thing right here. I respect what Raider is. Not just a savage barbarian, that's just what you see on the outside, but what they are on the inside, well, there's no other word to describe it but legendary. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down in the description below what you thought, whether or not you like Raider, what your favorite part about this episode was, and next time we'll go into the next Vanguard to talk about. We'll be going into the Mire to talk about the Kensei. See you then, guys. Take care.